So good thing we're not doing it for real.
Yeah, this isn't real.
So,
Not real. Just live to the world. Not real.
that was a great line.
What if we actually did this for real?
What if
this
we
is real?
What if we did this for real?
It was pretty amazing, actually.
I don't. You were going through, how you're going to categorize this show and all the all the teases and stuff, and the whole headline is already a lie, but we'll move forward anyway.
What is the headline? I don't
Even
even know
though
the
this is
headline.
not real. I mean, you got lucky and won a fantasy game, and you made it look like you're a fantasy genius or something.
I am beyond fantasy genius, I believe. Let's just pull up documentation to get this show started. So here it is.
It's so stupid. So
This
I
was
love
written by the NFFL.
you guys are like, this is for the Tim Dwight Trophy. We play for the Tim Dwight Trophy every year, and the No Fair Catch Fantasy Football League, and you've never won it. You've never paid, and your regular season, I'm a roster building, genius, 5 titles, nobody even close, and you win a game. It's not a big deal. I only have
B&P Construction took on Iowa Power and Light 2 times last year and won each time.
I can't remove this from the stage.
Result this week then was not surprising. B&P Construction made it past Iowa Power and Light, winning a game 49-45.
Yeah.
The game even ups both teams' records at 3-3.
So the week before you lost to.
We don't talk about anything week before. We're talking about this week.
Well, this week
This is
not
the game that matters. B&P Construction were led by one-man team of Patrick Mahomes.
This was 2 weeks ago. So you lost this week.
No, I won this week too.
Oh, yeah, you did.
I was dominant. But I would say the best part of all of this, I was dead to rights. Like, I think I was down by like 20 points going into Monday night. And Brian Gilmore got on the message board.
Yeah, you scored like 15 points, and then we've got a guy in our league who's probably the nicest guy in Pleasantville, and he throws some smack talk at you, and I'm like, Gully, what are you doing? Why are you? Because Brandon sucks, his team sucks, but he still has Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, and so he jinxed me the minute I loved it. I loved it that he was mean to you, but as soon as he did it, I'm like, this is not good.
Not this week, Gilly. That's all I said on the board.
Yeah. And
then Patrick Mahomes goes off. Some of the other game notes from the Iowa Power and Light. Iowa Power and Light does lead the all-time series 21-17. We'll get into why it's 21-17. And then B&P Construction has now won the last 3 meetings over Iowa Power and Light. If B&P Construction played Iowa Power and Light every week, then that stat doesn't matter.
Yeah, you'd have a losing record.
B&P Construction would be 5-1 if they played the same schedule as Iowa Power.
I think nobody likes to hear about other people's fantasy, but the one thing that's true is people that can't win championships really hold on to these moments. That's how they deal with being able just to set a lineup the next week. So. It's. I will say this. I'll be honest. For you to win that game was kind of a season-saving moment because our league is tough. We have 16 teams. I mean, you're playing like people are going to have to start like. There's just dudes in the league that people have never heard of that we have to play, and that's what I love about it. But
I thought it was funny. So McKenna Hassey,
who's
the race car driver, the sprint car driver stud from Carlisle.
Yeah,
her husband was rostered in our league.
Oh, really?
Like he's the Minnesota Vikings, Xavier Scott. He's the Minnesota Vikings running back.
Well, and the Mike Allstats and they gave him the ball a few times. Like he had a chance to get in the end zone. So,
he scored the other day.
Yeah. So you got to have a guy like that. Sometimes you're just like, okay. And I think that's what makes our league great. But we only have 13 weeks. And so you start counting it down. I mean, we used to only get 8 teams in, and then we changed it when they expanded the season, and we had to. It's more fun. So now 12 teams get in, but even to get in, still, like if you start getting to 4 or 5 losses, you're in trouble. And you would have moved to your fourth loss. So that was huge that you didn't lose.
No, I needed that win, and then I followed it up with I just dominated. I don't even know what the score was this week, but I think I played Bulldozers. Which anytime you play Dozers, you're probably going to win.
Dozer is actually.
I played Dozer this coming week. I don't know
wouldn't.
who I played last week.
Dozer's like one of the top teams in the league, and he's like in the 16-team league, he's like 13th in scoring. I don't know how he does it. Just magic. But yeah, of course, Jesse, who shoots football with us and is part of Dome Dynasty and our football coverage, was originally.
You said Jesse?
Yep, he was originally in the league in 1998 before he had the beard, and he was a Jeff Gordon fan. So his team was the Rainbow Warriors.
Is this the greatest beard in Des Moines?
I don't know, but on our Zoom meeting yesterday with all of the people we had in the meeting, I mean, as soon as he came in, and I think Meg would agree, just his wife, just the way the sun hit his beard. I mean, it was a magical moment for everybody. And the worst thing is, you bringing me into the work world. This Zoom stuff is a part of our life, and these meetings that we have, and they're great. Don't get me wrong, but to have Jesse just be a part of that is magical. And he talked in the meeting yesterday too. So, but he's no longer the Rainbow Warriors. He's the Dubtown whatever.
Yeah, he's like Winterset guy now.
He's the only guy except for Duve who's not from Pleasantville in our league. So
it was funny. So to wrap fantasy football, some reason I lost to Bailey by like 0.3%.
Oh, in your like little
138.74 to 138.34. And it was only because I think Nico Collins he got smoked.
He did.
Yeah. So, and I had him and he was going to go off. But anyway, like it was funny. Like, so all that. So 21-17, like the record, that's because this league's been around for 30 years. Like, that's why we have so many games that we've played against each other and all this and these all-time stats. It's like this league like might have started CBS Sportsline.
Yeah. I mean, we had a couple other ones, but it's able, and we got records of it when we started it in 19 and 98. My first year, of actually doing it was in 1991, and we of course did all the APA stuff and whatever. But first fantasy football in 91 and 92, and it was just touchdown league only. So yeah, so then McKenna Hassey's husband would have been perfect for that. You just need guys that roll into the end zone back then. So no stats, no nothing. And so when we formed this, Andy Price, who worked for the Twins for years, who I got to talk to you about, we'll get Andy on. He's got another mega network thing that he's working on. And so, yeah, maybe our podcast will be with him. But we sat down in 1994, and I was like, what's a good game for a running back? What's a good game for a quarterback? And then so we had to make all those games be equal. And that's where we came up with this league. Like, people are like, you only scored 38 points in your fantasy league. I like, yeah, you have to earn it. So not 170 to 176. It's like, if you score 100 in our league, it's only happened like, I think 52 times in the history of our league. And it started in 98 where stupid Duve scored 111 last week. I didn't even acknowledge it yet.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he's such an idiot.
But he's
so lucky.
Like, I won like 48-41. Like, Patrick Mahomes in my other league scores 48 points a week. It's like, holy cow. Like, how does this happen? But
yeah.
Pretty wild.
So anyways, we'll see where you are at the end of the year.
Yeah. So, I mean, we just have the greatest beard of all time, and he's out shooting highlights with you every week too, which is awesome.
Yeah. And everybody knows him. Everybody knows Dome Dynasty is coming to town when that beard shows up. But yeah, so Jesse beat you 82 to, he just 86-42. And then you beat me. And then I scraped by Jesse this week. So
you beat Jesse this week?
Oh yeah. So it's kind of like, what is that, District 6 and 3A? I mean, it's just nuts. I mean, District 5, Winterset, Nevada, Williamsburg, Des Moines Christian. I mean, this is the same thing. It's just a gauntlet. Everybody's beat everybody. We're all district champs.
Awesome. What about MLB playoffs? Have you watched any playoffs?
I was, labeling you the bro dumper because I really like the big dumper. I mean, I think his story's cool. Looks like a kid that should be from Elkhorn, Kimballton, or somewhere grew up somewhere near
Key
Decorah.
Lansing.
Yeah,
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 he's a Key Lansing kid.
yeah. He would have played
Which
for
is
Gene.
crazy. Like the photo you pulled up is the Key Lansing coach.
What are you talking about? So I don't know. This show we don't even have to go into our football stuff. We can just do this segment and quit. But so Gene Schultz is like he's won more games than God. Like he is, and he retired years ago, but he'd won like 8 million games. And we had the honor of doing so much stuff with the High School Association, the Iowa Hall of Pride early on in the 2000s. And Bailey is like you. So Todd Bailey, Todd Rowland, all these guys, we worked together and did some of this Hall of Pride stuff. And it had to be the first year of Principal Park because when I made you go to those games, you were still going to Carroll and Marshalltown. So I don't know how you bigwigged this or how you showed up or was it first year, 2003 or 4, probably?
It looks like on the thing.
Yeah, on your badge.
2005 on the badge.
I think I hit my mic, but
Yep.
yeah. And then, gosh, what did Bailey say about this picture? But yeah, and so I was like, Bailey, that's Gene Schultz, And he said, "Why does your brother look like freaking Tony Stewart?" And that's definitely what you were going for.
Oh yeah, I was racer guy. But I'm trying to figure out what my shirt is. But the most scary part of me there is, am I wearing tanning bed glasses?
I don't know what you're wearing.
Yeah, those look like the things you'd wear in a tanning bed.
Yeah.
Like, did I just get done like tanning real quick at
No, I
Pleasantville and came straight to the Principal Park?
I guarantee you Bailey's right. I think it's Tony. Yeah, Tony Stewart. If you took a picture of him from 2005, he's got those shades. So
I wasn't like that in 2005. I didn't know what people look like. I wasn't trying to be anybody. I can guarantee that. Like, I wasn't smart enough to do that.
yeah, you've never. I would say you've never really tried to, but I would say that you could have been influenced by Tony Stewart's. But Gene Schultz, legend, Key Lansing, baby.
So,
yeah, so I
you were
watched
back to the big dumper. Like, I didn't realize I was getting my hair cut yesterday, and I had hardly seen any MLB playoffs. Like, I've been running nonstop with work, kids, you name it. I've been every direction. And so, like, I haven't got to sit down and watch any playoff baseball. Grayson somehow has seen a lot of playoff baseball. I don't know how that's possible. Like, we live in the same house.
Yeah, but does he do the little like catch up through live plays or does he that kind of thing?
He must. And I think in the morning when I'm trying to get stuff done, he's watching highlights or who knows. But I saw a couple plays. So, like, there's 3 things that have stood out to me so far. And probably Otani is probably the 4th. Like, but
yeah,
like I was getting my hair cut and they were talking about the big dumper and the ladies laughing, cutting my hair because you just don't hear people talk about the big dumper all the time, like when you're getting your hair cut. So it's just big dumper this, big dumper that, big dumper, and so then it came all the way back around to that last at bat, big dumpers on deck in the bottom of the 9th. And they said that I don't remember who was up to bat, the one hitter for the Mariners, who's just awesome. But he struck out on a full count. Pitch was out of the zone. So people were like, oh, if he would have taken it, big dumper would have came up with a chance to win it. So then they were breaking it down even further. And they're like, not one pitch in that at bat was a strike.
Really?
Yeah. So every pitch was a ball. He's just swinging out his butt, trying to.
Yeah.
And just get the big dumper up. So big dumper was one thing. The other thing that I thought will stand out in this MLB playoffs was that Brewers double play.
Isn't that weird?
That was just wild.
That's what makes sports so great is to see something like that, happen and then just and just the inability to have a situation like that happen and really understand as a coach and as a player what you can do to prepare for that. And you really can't. I mean, the catcher was amazing. We talked about the Guardians, how their season ended. I mean, just certain things that happen that you're just like sometimes simple communication, but that like I wouldn't know whether even as the third base coach or the player on third to look at the umpire to see what their signal and then if their signal's wrong, with replay? Are you going to, there's just no right thing to do. But yeah, they get the double play and then they still don't win.
So that was wild. And then, to see that happen in the MLB playoffs. And then this week we're playing St. Pete Elite Navy versus St. Pete Elite Carolina.
Oh, sounds.
So we had a huge game on Sunday. We didn't play very good. Carolina, the younger team, didn't play very good early, but we came back. It was 8-6, bases loaded. Bailey was up. And she had been kind of like hitting things off the end of the bat, and she's pulling off pitches, and it's driving me bonkers. And I think I finally figured that out Monday, what was going on there, which might have to be for a whole nother show. But she did the exact thing. So she kind of pulled off, and I'll even show you what she was doing. So she's wrapping her right arm like this to try to get the contact so she can't get her barrel or anything through because her hands are locked. And so I finally figured it out because she just kept pulling everything off. So she was like here. And so then she's like almost like, it's weird the way she was swinging.
Yeah, she wants to stand. She's trying to stay on top of it. Yeah.
She's trying to stay on top, but she's like already like here.
Yeah.
And so she kind of hit it off the end of the bat, popped it up.
I'm gonna have to teach her the Crystal Bustos grip so that she never has to do that again.
We talked here this week. We were here, and then she's been crushing. So, but she popped it up. It was between the shortstop and the third baseman with the bases loaded with one out. They collide trying to catch it. Ball hits the ground. Infield fly was called. It's the same thing as like the crazy. Infield fly was called.
Oh no! So they could still advance.
Girl stays at second. Girl at first just takes off. So then it's just chaos. So then they throw it to the plate because the other girl takes off and our last out of the plate. So we lost, which was wild, crazy.
What's really strange? Back to two things. First of all, back to the big dumper and back to that kind of stuff and these plays when they happen. I actually would at the end of practice go through the scenario and try to teach the infield fly rule, take those times, and then explain to my infielders and everybody else, as soon as you see them indicate infield fly, I go, just get behind it and let it drop and see what happens. And my kids understood that, but even without learning the rule from a young age and bringing that into, it's just like when I told, the little Bingham to bunt with 2 strikes, I just assumed that he knew that if it was foul, he was out. So Brexton, right?
Yeah.
So teaching that from a young age can be such an advantage because it just eliminates it. You can cause chaos to the other teams, but what's fun is just to see what people do when they indicate infield fly, and you play it like you're playing it like off of a Bama hop, just see what happens. But people just never clearly know what the rule is, and you cannot prepare for that at that age with those kids. But as a coach, to not get upset about it and just smile and enjoy the hell out of it is something that I would definitely encourage because it's an easy rule to teach kids.
I struggled enjoying it because Bailey just needed to get a hit and we were fine.
So back to the big dumper, and then I'll let you go. And this could apply to Bailey and anybody else. I think 1998, the McGuire Sosa thing really kind of pointed it out to me, and then it just changed my whole mantra. I listened to Tony La Russa talk about it a little bit, but I hate it. I hate the old, you do this, do that. So if I have a dominant player, I'm just leading him off. Raleigh, I think that's second in the lineup because Rodriguez is a good player, but I had Jasmine Rumley for a long time. We had Lindemann, and I let him off, right? And everybody's got an opinion, and they're like, "You can't do that." I'm like, "How about the 7th inning rolls around? I got 2 outs, and my 9-hitter scratches a base hit, and my player that I want up is still 3 players away." You have to give these people. So I understand Rodriguez would be just as good of an option as probably Raleigh
if he swung at a strike.
Yeah, with the game on the line. But this is one of those things that when you brought that up, I was trying to remember if he was batting. I thought he was batting third or second. But
He's hitting second. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm just like, best player, RBI machine, super fast, super slow. I don't care. Shohei Ohtani, and you mentioned him too. You never want to, like, us old people are always like, well, he wasn't better than, Juan Rodriguez, whatever. But what he was able to do in that playoff game with the 6 shutout innings too. I mean, it's Herculean type stuff. He's got to be one of the greatest people to ever play the game of baseball. I don't think there's any argument, really.
Yeah, and again, not seeing highlights, not seeing it live, like I just get all of a sudden the notification comes on that Shohei Ohtani just hit a ball 484 feet.
Yeah. You don't live it like you did with Ripken and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
But
you just see it and you're like, he hit a ball 484 in the playoffs. It's just like, how is that possible? Pretty amazing though what's going on with the Brewers double play. But probably my highlight of my MLB playoffs that I have seen is Max Scherzer.
yeah.
So Schneider comes out to take Scherzer out of the game, and he immediately is just lighting him up. He hasn't even got to the foul line yet, and Scherzer's yelling at him. And it's at that moment as a coach, that's hard because you got to you got to show that you're the dominant one. You got to pull him right away, right? And he left him in. He got the out, and it's fun when you see those competitive sides. And I think that's what sports is missing a little bit right now in this new generation are guys like that.
Yeah.
That can just light somebody up, on the field, off the field. And I think that's where my frustration with my kids, because I want them to be that. I want them to stand on the mound and be yelling, and then I would probably be mad at them. But it's just, that little ornery. I think you said the other day on the show, ornery SOB, and I think that's probably Max Scherzer growing up.
And a few of those things too, Brandon, that's one of the reasons why I'm such a dedicated person when it comes to high school football. Some of the things that you're talking about, these were cultivated by these people probably through football or other organized sports where it was a learned behavior from another athlete that empowered them to be able to do that. Obviously, some like a Max Scherzer had other experiences as well, and had been with an organization long enough to maybe have seen some of those other things. But they're rare to have those, but it is something that kind of gets passed down and passed down. I think Season on the Brink, a book by Feinstein about Bobby Knight, he controversial, whatever. There's all those things. But he would challenge his kids to, within the program at that time, well, such and such wouldn't let this happen, or such and such, he wouldn't really, he just pointed out some of the leaders and when they had good teams, some of the things that they would do when he talked individually to his players about, well, you're the one letting this happen. So sometimes a coach can convey that, but guys like Scherzer, they've earned that, and it's really cool. It was interesting to see that too, because I was like, I would have, as soon as I saw his reaction, I probably been like, all right, he's got this, I as a coach. But then I would have been like, if I'm for sure against it, I would have just ignored it and walked directly out to him and not probably even looked him in the eye.
No, I wouldn't have wanted to look at him for sure.
No. Dang it, I had my DeJean shirt on today and I didn't wear it.
You and Grayson both rocking Cooper DeJean shirts everywhere.
Yeah.
I saw he's in the top 10. Cooper DeJean is in the top 10 of jersey sales in the NFL.
Well, yeah, yeah, it's Coop.
That's awesome. When I saw that, I was just like, that's pretty cool.
Oh, the Philadelphia fans just love him. But it's the Iowa thing. I mean, like I was telling you, I went to a concert, and somebody brought up something, and in the middle of it, they all just are chanting Coop. And it's like, what in the world is going on?
Yeah, and it wasn't a fair catch. And it's funny, like our baseball team, the Keswick baseball team, one of the cool things is the coach, it's row the boat.
Oh God,
And so I kind of like the whole thing, but I'm not a Minnesota fan at all. And I think I would like PJ Fleck if he was my guy, but when he's not my guy, I don't like him at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're always doing the row the boat. That's a cool experience. I'll wrap MLB playoffs with Grayson's experience this weekend was fun. So he's hurt. He couldn't play, but he was going to play 18U baseball as a 12-year-old. So I was kind of like, that's probably not the smartest thing, but they needed numbers and he'd probably go out and run down some fly balls. I don't know what he would do anywhere else, but so their first 18U tournament for Keswick, Team Elite, they were playing at Baseball City, and the first game was against the Stangs. I'm like, who are the Stangs?
Who are the Stags?
And he's like, the Stangs have 4 D1 recruits, Dad. And I was like, well, I'm gonna go over and watch the Stangs play Keswick. And so it was interesting. And I think we ended up losing 9-4 to the Stangs. The Stangs are the Northside Christian team from down here that are really good. But one of Grayson's buddies, as an 8th grader, he got into pitch at the end and he struck out the D1 commit. So the little 8th grader struck out the D1 commit going to Florida State.
Oh yeah, that's always that's
like,
always going to happen too. That's always you always get those chances, when you bring in really, really slow or young kids against elite kids. And yeah, at least they'll always have it to talk about.
Correct. And it was just funny. Like he, like the kid that was hitting next, his dad was sitting right beside me. And he's like, I'm going to go tell him this kid's an 8th grader. You better not strike out off him. And the next kid was legit. Like he could hit it. And so he just was up there. It's like after his at bat, he just like kind of poked one to the outfield off the kid. And he's like, he was just trying everything not to strike out. He didn't care about getting hit. He was just trying not to strike out. But what else so that'll be fun. I think he's hopefully going to be on the mend and gets back in November, December and can play a couple of those tournaments.
Yeah.
And see where he stacks up. It'll be fun. Go face 91 and see what you think, little buddy.
Yeah.
No, other things before we hit the Iowa Football Coach Association part of our show. A couple things happened this week. I think I might even be able. Let me see if I can pull this on the stage. That would be.
Yeah, we're going to have to really blow through the high school stuff faster. Maybe go through it quicker because we've already went 26 minutes. People don't need that much time of us.
No. So
what do you got?
Here was some stuff that I saw. So
what is going on?
This is the High Limit Racing Banquet, and what this is Brad Sweet trying to accept this award.
Oh my gosh.
And so Brad Sweet, here's his daughter right here, like in the family at the table. And so they must have had this. I thought this was cool. They must have had this planned. Like, so he's announcing that he's retiring. Like, he's not going to race full time.
I've seen him race for years.
Yeah. And so he raced for Casey Kane since like 2007. And so this was his last full-time season. Him and Kyle Larson now own the High Limit Racing Series.
Okay.
And so they must have had this, like, if Brad can't get through this, you might have to go up on stage to his daughter. So it's funny, like she just bolted there in the crowd. And then, he's struggling a little bit here, like, because there's a lot of emotions that go with, hanging it up. And here she is like, okay, she's got him. Like she's going to help him get through it. So it's just cool. Just to see his emotion. And I watched some of this and I've seen highlights of this, and it was just really impactful. When you care about what you do, it comes through in everything. And this was one of it, watching him. And then, there's more stuff here later where you watch, him and Casey Kane together. Just, passion wins every time. And that's what I was thinking when I was seeing a lot of this stuff and seeing poor Brad try to make his way through it. But
was just awesome.
It was cool. And I think this is what we love about sports, is what, brings people together, what the passion is, and who they are as personalities outside of their helmet and their sports equipment and everything. And so that was pretty cool to see all that kind of happen.
I love this venue. I love that environment. And I think the event itself is something that is extremely important. It's what we're going to do with the IFCA in February, and each of those people have their own story. But what happens with that emotion, with what Sweet's able to show, and, the relationships with Casey Kane, and that hits every single person in sprint car racing. So it's a value because it cultivates more work, more hard work, more emotion, more drive and more competitive spirit throughout the sport. And it also identifies to the general public and the people on the outside that there's a lot of love and dedication, and this is good for, overall humans. So their sport, like what you got there.
So then this was the other one, kind of the same thing. I've never really been a Denny Hamlin fan in the NASCAR side.
But y'all didn't see the heavy stuff. The heavy stuff came down far before I raised that shield. I was a wreck. That the entire last lap and then cool down lap was just, I was a mess. And so when I finally pulled myself together is when I raised my shield. So yeah, it's just I don't know, sometimes it hits you.
The following is a production.
So it's just cool when I was watching some of his. I love watching his podcast. And so he was talking about his 60th win. And I mean, he's kind of been the abrasive kind of guy and everything, but all of a sudden, what I've noticed out of him is like now I love him. Like I like him because, and I think it's been this podcast I've been watching because it's a personality you see of him. But then when he won the 60th, he was just the old man out there crying.
Yeah.
And so watching him try to get it together, and so he was explaining that like you guys didn't even see the heavy stuff. Like, I was trying to like keep the wheel to get it back to do the burnout, and everything. But
yeah, that's
cool.
the good stuff. And I think that's, while you're still able to do the sport and be able to recognize the success you're having, that's what's special. And that's why, when they interview Kirk at the end of games and he has that emotion, like that's not a part of his daily routine. He has none of that in it, but because of what they do and because Iowa's going to win a national championship and Kirk's going to be coach of the year and he's going to coach this year. It's really valuable to be able to see that emotion. And I know I'm going to support him until he doesn't want to do it anymore. And I'm the outlier. I'm the Kirk only guy, but people don't know how good they have it with, and it's kudos to Hamlin for now being able to be mature enough to understand that. Maybe it took him doing a podcast to figure that out too. I don't know.
And I think that's some of Dale Jr.'s impact on the sport, even beyond like is him creating that opportunity and that network for guys like Hamlin to have their opinion be voiced, but like show that he is a real human being, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get some stuff all loaded up here and not have it play live yet. So,
oh yeah,
there we go. Got it all. All right. Let's so I am a Denny Hamlin fan. I still, if I had to go NASCAR guys right now, I'm probably still gonna go Kyle Larson 1. Denny Hamlin's probably 2, and then probably some of those other sprint car guys like Christopher Bell. I'm still probably Larson first, but Larson and Hamlin are boys, so it's kind of funny.
That is interesting how those dynamics. I mean, it's fun. Have you seen all the recent stuff that they've come out? All the new documentaries on Dale Earnhardt. Have you seen a lot of that stuff?
I haven't seen much of that, no.
Yeah, I could watch it over and over and over and over. So yeah, those are the only NASCAR drivers I remember anyway. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's go. Iowa Football Coaches Association. Like we're already 33 minutes in.
I know.
Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, we were trying to find a time to do the podcast, period. And once we started, it just keeps going. So
all right, let's talk some high school football. So we are in week 1 of the playoffs here this week. So we've got some 8-player games. We've got some Class A, some Class 1A, Class 2A playoffs. Where do you want to start first? You want to go Class 2A first, come all the way down, or you want to go 8-player and up?
Yeah, we can go 2A and down. I mean, there's plenty of stuff to talk about. I think that everybody has to love the format of what's going on here. I think the cool thing about it too is after this first round, then it's not potted out yet. So then it'll kind of be slotted after that. But once the 4A gets set, they put them in those 4 and your path to the dome. But right now it's crazy. Like, you don't know. And 2A is so loaded, when you look at Kemper and I mean, nobody knows about Osage, PCM's good, Mid Prairie's good, Van Meter. I can't figure out Clarenda. I don't know. There's some crazy stuff, but
I think even a Pella Christian going down to Clarenda will tell us a lot.
Yeah, it sure will. But as you look at 2A, and it's you got the 4A first. I mean, that'll be an interesting game. I do think Clarenda has been. I don't know. I mean, look at their season and then tell me what's going on because I can't.
I think there's a lot. 2A to me is very wide open. Like Kemper might just be cream of the field and we don't even know it. But I'm guessing Grandview Christian plays Kemper tough.
Yeah.
You know, so I think the 4-1s, I think the 3-2s and 2A, I think there will be a lot of decent football games there.
Well, Dyke New Hartford's a 3, I think, and they got to go to Wilton. I mean,
Correct.
but Odell all through Battle Creek, Ida Grove, when they're healthy and they're going. I mean, I watched the game with Kemper. Obviously, no turnovers, everything clean, both teams playing well. You know, that's a game that could be a 50-50 game at some time. I mean, obviously, Kemper's proved that they're they deserve a number one ranking and they have an edge if that was to be a matchup again. But I mean, I could see. I don't know how good Western Christian is. Okoboji just out
I
of
mean,
nowhere.
you talk about Western Christian getting a gift, like, okay, like you're the 2 seed, you've battled all year. Now you get Odell Arthur, and you get the fighting Jacks to Jeans, and he's playing quarterback. He
Yeah,
played quarterback last week. And I was like, good luck, to the Westerners. Is that Western Christian? No, that's Akron Westfield. I don't know who the Westerners.
Yeah, they're the Westerners. Yeah,
but then Unity Christian's 3-5.
Western Christian's the Wolf Pack.
They're going to Okoboji. There's some interesting. You look at Woodward Granger going to a 4-4 Hampton Dumont.
West Branch is hosting. I could send you over there.
I
Roland Story looks good.
Yeah, who's West Branch? Got Denver.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we go to Class 1A. So then Class 1A, I did kind of have some fun. I started trying to draw it out, like how do you get, like, what are the semifinal rounds look like?
Yeah, you don't know. And the rankings are different. Like if you look at Radio Iowa, Grundy's number one till somebody beats them. But I mean, West Lyons number one too, right? They always are number one. They should be number one for.
Yeah, so I think you got to put both teams as number one right now.
Like, West Lyons always number one until somebody knocks them out of the playoffs.
I've had a couple people text me and they just are like, West Lyon would maybe win every class.
The year that we did the documentary on Van Meter, and they beat Van Meter in the finals. Yeah, I mean they've had those teams that were like, holy smokes. And yeah, a lot of those kids are playing at Iowa State, wherever they could play wherever they want. And when you see the success of some of those teams that up in the Sioux Falls area and the NAI area, and all that, a lot of those kids are coming out of that high school. But Regina and Trainer are good as well. And we're obviously partisan to Pleasantville, and with Braylon, they can beat anybody anytime if they play really well and get some turnovers. So,
but who knows how good Duran is? Like Duran might be, pretty good. So
we know West Marshall's good. Underwood's really good, and
Trainer's got to be good.
Yeah, I asked the coach last week at Riverside. I'm like, how good's Trainer? He's like, really good, and he's a Frayne, so he has connections there. He coached 4-time state championship wrestlers at Creston. I mean, he's a great guy, but they ran into a buzzsaw with the boys from Adair Casey and Guthrie Center last Friday.
But. So here was when I was podding it out, I was like trying to have fun and trying to move stuff. This is probably not how it goes, but I was thinking, West Lyon, is probably going to be a pod. I was thinking Grundy's a pod. I was thinking Trainer's a pod, and I was thinking Regina was a pod.
Oh yeah, if you're trying to pick where Pleasantville's they're gonna have to beat Regina or Trainer to get there. I mean, if they even win against Durant, so those are for sure.
So I actually was trying to have fun and think about, okay, how does Pleasantville not go to Trainer or Regina? And I actually ended up with them in a dome semi against Grundy Center.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun. But if they get Grundy Center before the dome, they have to do a lot of push-ups.
Yeah. You better have Coach Card and Jason Anthony running PE that week. Double PEs.
Yeah. No, this is the most exciting part, and we're speaking of it from, that's our hometown, but this is how excited I am for all these schools and to see what happens as they mix it up, and then to see what it comes down to. It's great drama. It's great for all these communities. It's a super exciting time. So much fun. And I mean, 1A and 2A, I mean, there is no clear cut. Obviously, Grundy Center and Kemper are your favorites in those classes as of right now. You just have to say.
I'm saying West Lyon's the favorite.
Well, go ahead. But I mean, Grundy's going for a 4-pack. So
I know, but they haven't played West Lyon.
West Lion's good. I guess I kind of have like a West Lion shirt on today.
You do. You are like rocking West Lyon. All right, let's go to Class A. And you've got some. You just came off of a couple weeks ago. You got to go see some Class A football.
Well, I think the cool thing here is like there's Jackson Gordon, number 8. You know, we went and saw Bo Burns over in Brooklyn. We've been all over the state, but yeah, this kid's a great football player. 1,800 yards coming into that game, and clearly you're going to be a candidate for Player of the Year and even overall Player of the Year if he continues and they do something special in the postseason. But
so, if anybody knows running backs, it's got to be the coach at Adair Casey. Like,
yeah,
he grew up in Madrid. He's like running back university out of Madrid. What was his take after the game on the Gordon kid?
Didn't really talk to him specifically about it, but you have to understand the intensity of Coach Mathewson. When you're in those games, sometimes too, me and you, I think, would even struggle with this. As coaches, sometimes because at the end of the game, you're just like, nobody gonna, and he still had 100 and some yards, but he had a couple touchdowns and all that. But yeah, I mean, you're sending that message to your kids that nobody is gonna, and so it's kind of it's almost a good thing as a team to have to go against a great player, as long as you don't let it consume you. But yeah, Gordon did his thing. It was slippery out there. It was a little tricky. It was a humid night that got kind of cold. They got pounded with rain. So there was a lot of turnovers in this game. But ACGC's got a great smoke machine, man.
That is cool.
Oh, it's awesome.
Is that Wyoming?
Yeah. Giving the officials some love. Friday night officials do such a great job around the state. And but this the Chargers and Coach Mathewson's only had 3 passes.
Look at those gray threads of the week.
They only had 3 passes the whole season coming in. They threw 3 and they were 3 for 3 in the game. But there's Gordon, good player. And reminds me a little bit of Burns, got maybe a little more juice, speed, top end speed, very physical in the hole and all that. But with this offense that the Chargers are running right now and the way they're playing defense, they're going to be tough to beat. So as we look at Class A, though, we're giving them some love because we can't get to Britt. We can't get to St. Ansgar, or we would. Yeah, I would love to get to a regular season game, but just a real physical team. And I think Coach Mathewson was excited because there's a lot of. Yeah, there it is. I had to show it, man. So the kid can throw. Walters, when we did the blitz, always used to say, "A forward pass from Coach Hinkle." It's a rare, one of the rarest things ever seen. But no, they've got some players, and they're gonna be right in the mix, and they'll get a host. But as you look at those A matchups and the top teams in A, they're gonna be right there. But for sure, West Hancock is a team to beat. St. Ansgar, and I think one of the. Did you put that back in there?
Yeah, here I'm trying to put. I think this. I'm not sure this guy's ever recovered from this hit. Holy cow! This big pulling lineman here.
Oh yeah, I know which player you're talking about.
Like, I don't know. It's got to be the backside guard.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just blows up 11. I'm not sure 11 knows what hit him.
Whoa. Yeah, he went out for a few plays. Yeah.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing on offense, so you better be dialed in. So they think they're ranked 4th in Todd Kim's Radio IO. I don't have the high school stuff pulled up here, but they're going to be. Can you remove it?
No, I wanted to leave you up.
No, I don't want to see that.
Get rid of him.
But one of the teams to keep an eye on, and they've got a Harpino playing quarterback, Marcus Meriden, Cleghorn, Remsen Union.
Yep.
Coming on, kind of silent. Nobody talking. Wapsie Valley, a lot of tradition.
You're talking about 2 8-0 teams there. Wapsie Valley and MMCRU.
Nobody said anything about Woodbury Central and Pekin's unbeaten. West Sioux. We've highlighted their players, and they've got a bunch of Wiggins runs.
I think you find out a lot about Class A though, even first round. Like Earlham, Pekin, like you'll find out because Earlham's in that. Their district's been tough. I think they were with like Madrid, ACGC, so there's going to be some pretty tough, tougher first round games than I think a lot of the other ones. So you're going to find out some things.
Yeah, poor West Sioux. They got IKM Manning. I mean, they're 7-1. They're hosting a 6-2 on that in that 3-2 game. I think that will be interesting. And then how they match them back up. If you got to go back and play somebody in your district or not. And I think for all of us, I'm sure the people at the association as well, you'd love to avoid teams in the same district having to play next week, but it's just sometimes it's got to happen. I think it's more fun for everybody if it doesn't, but that's the reality of just how it breaks down because you just don't want to play a team that you've already played to move on to the quarterfinals.
And then you got BGM at Riverside. What's the over under on that game? Like, does Bo Burns have 400 yards rushing, and does Jackson Gordon have another 400 as well?
That is a short trip. I mean, they won't even. They could just take a cab over there. I mean, how far is that?
That's a long ways.
That's a poke.
Yeah.
The fact that Riverside gets to host them is really cool. So yeah, the over under, like what combined rushing for those two kids, Burns and Gordon combined, the over under is probably 475.
Ooh, I would take the over all day.
Take the over 528.
Yeah, it's got to be like they're both running for 2.25.
Well, yeah, it'd be fun. All these guys that do their little DraftKings stuff to see if we could get some money. I don't do that stuff, but yeah, that's going to be interesting.
And then we go into 8-player. Like just that is the wild west. Like you just don't know.
Just don't want to go to Woodbine right now, and that's what Exira's got to do. So, Elkhorn, Kimballton, and Adair Casey played in the first 8-player championship game, but nobody wants to go to Woodbine right now.
In Moravia,
it's like going to the woodshed.
Yeah, like Woodbine and Iowa Valley both. Like, no, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to be mean, but how many points Iowa Valley going to score?
I don't know. I mean, there's some weird games too. Like as you look at the third at first, Wayne is 7-1, and they're going to 7-1 Bedford.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
It is. And then you got Bishop Garrigan, who's still probably your favorite 8-player.
Oh yeah. I'm all in on Bishop Garrigan. Me and Coach Wiley all the way.
I'll give you Bishop Garrigan if I get Woodbine and Iowa Valley.
No, I mean I'll just stick with Bishop just because those are my guys right now, right? I love Woodbine, but I mean I love Lennox.
Lennox is always tough, but they got to go play Audubon.
We like those Audubon, the Wheelers. I love the Wheelers coaching staff. The Wheelers coaching staff, they all look good. Montezuma's scary too, but big on Don Bosco. I mean, we love those. We love all of these 8-player. It's hard not to, but
the cool thing about like Don Bosco and 8-player is they can all 8 be wrestlers.
Yeah.
Like if they would play 11, it would probably be a little tougher to get because you have to get another couple big guys. Like you only have a 285 and a 220. So when they play 8-player, they can all be wrestlers.
Yeah. That when they get back to the Dome, I don't know if they'll be this year, but there's going to be an event. They get after it. So 8-player is a blast. It really is all about execution. It's what's fun the last few years is, a lot of teams, including Bishop Garrigan, and Remsen. I mean, these are teams that run the ball really well, play good defense. It's kind of crazy. We did have a few of those years where it was just like 70 to 80 up there, but the team once they start getting to the Dome, the scores can get a little smaller. These teams do tackle, so they're well coached. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how good. What's Todd Kim got? Who's he got number 1? Let's see what my boy at Radio Iowa. Oh yeah, the Kimster, Bishop Garrigan, number 1.
Of course, he's been listening to you.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, Iowa Valley though. Gladbrook, I forgot. Yeah, they're going to be back. They got 2 great athletes from last year's team that we got to see. But the Wheelers, everybody's almost unbeaten. But don't count out Bedford and Don Bosco, especially if they get mad.
So that is kind of Class 2A, 1A, 8-player. We start playoffs this week, and then they'll repot them. Repot them on Saturday, right? And
10 a.m. That's going to be fun.
So then that's where we'll really get hot and heavy. We'll get the show out pretty quickly next week as we go back through the pods. And ultimately, what's Pleasantville's road to the Dome. That's all that matters.
It'd be cool if they ever get back. We were talking about, that mid 90s area when I was back out, and I was out of Iowa for a while in Cody and Billings, and you were here, and I didn't get to go watch a lot of those games in the Dome. That was kind of a bummer. And ever since I've shot every game in the Dome, pretty much since '98, Pleasantville hasn't been back. Are you reading comments or something?
I am reading comments now. Like I just decided to look at those, and I shouldn't have.
Oh,
because we got Todd Stites goes, are we not going to mention the Bedford Bulldogs?
Well, of course we mentioned Bedford. I think when you went to Bedford, right when you went to 8-player, you said Bedford was hosting Wayne, and they're both 7-1. So there was a mention, but obviously we're big on the Bulldogs. I don't know.
Yeah, I think there was probably
maybe I got a Bedford shirt on. Let me check.
There was like a 3 or a 4 year run. No, you got the Cooper DeJean. You don't got no Bedford Bulldog. But there was like a 3 or a 4 year run that we picked the Bedford score in a text group every game.
Yeah.
So
that was 2 years ago, wasn't it?
That was longer than that. I think your 2 years is probably 10 years ago, actually. But
I thought we were doing it with Shelby like 2 years ago. Or
we
were talking about.
Me and Todd had it going in a text group for years there. He would just send me like every Thursday or Friday, he'd be like, Bulldogs 20-12 over Mount Airy.
Yeah, and so he grew up south of the border there in Missouri, in the aura of Bedford, Bob McCoy, and what he did down there for all those years. And yeah, I love those 8-player schools. I love it that they're playing football. I love it that they still have identity in their schools, and it's important to them.
I'm a little nervous about the next Todd Stites. I'm looking forward to giving Iowa Power and Light a bit of a beatdown myself this weekend.
Oh, yeah. So I got in that dynasty league with those guys. Absolutely don't get to spend a lot of time in it, but it's really fun. It's a salary cap thing, and he's kind of hot right now, but he's lucky. I've been robbed a few times scored too many points, but went against the highest guy in the league type thing. But in 5 years or 10 years, if I live long enough to stay in this dynasty league, I will have the most titles. So I'm not going to get caught up in the week-to-week stuff.
We'll see about that. All right, let's go.
Packer Big's in it too.
Let's go to big schools. We've got some other big schools going on. So not in the playoffs yet. This is week 9 for what do we have? 3A, 4A, and 5A, all with week 9. And so you guys got to go last week.
They've won one ever since. What's that?
You got to go out and you got to see a little Southeast Polk and Waukee Northwest.
Hey, did you follow along with the Southeast Polk Johnston game?
Yes, I did.
It went to like double overtime, and Z went for it at the end. And I think that the Rams knew that if they can get it done this week, they'll still get in with all this RPI stuff. But they've got a nice young sophomore quarterback, and he'll get better. But I knew how disappointed Starcevich and Zelenovich and everybody was after this game. But Coach Paddock's team 2 weeks ago was it was well done. And they've got the big kid. I don't know, Brandon, if you can see this boy. I should have taken some pictures of him, but I don't even remember his name. I'm sorry, but he's 6'6", 330-pound lineman going to Wake Forest for Waukee Northwest. But this looked like a very sharp, well-modified, clean machine that you weren't going to beat. Well, they're player-led. They're doing a great job. And then, poof, Waukee beats them the next week. And obviously, Southeast Polk raised their level against a really good Johnston team. So there is a level that Dowling and Waukee Northwest and some of these teams, Liberty, they do have the advantage, but you just can't sleep. Can you win 4 games in a row, 3 games in a row? What Southeast Polk was able to do last year still is a little bit alarming, with the way they were able to win these games and how obviously they got an onside kick in the championship and blah, blah, blah. But, when this playoff starts, this is going to be real interesting. Real interesting. Northwest is good. Waukee got them.
But Waukee got them.
Waukee got them.
And then Johnston, just goes and beats somebody else. It's just like everybody, they just keep beating on each other. So the playoffs will be interesting.
Do you have a gut feeling on who the best team is in 5A?
Well, me and you were talking about this, right? And you kind of gave me the Joaquin Northwest was, and then you gave me the they're not, and so then I was like, I don't have a good feeling. I think if you pick against the Fighting Tommy Wilsons is probably that's the only thing I got right now is I think Dowling probably shows up by the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, if we have to go back, I mean, Dowling's number one. You and Todd Kim are on the same page there at Radio Iowa, and they've just been the most consistent, I think, now throughout this period. And plus, if it does start to get a little chilly, they're going to run the ball. Ankeny, Centennial are going to be hard to deal with. And I had in my notes too that you're going to have to start on our Player of the Year stuff. You're going to have to start taking a look at Cale Roush, what he was able to do against Valley. Valley is really good too. So it just goes to prove that, and Liberty and Iowa City West, you just don't know. But right now, it's might be a survival. Might come down to if you have an injury, if you have a player that really steps up and starts playing well. And that's why I'm looking at what Cale Roush did in that game against Valley. I'm like, oh man, like 300 yards, looked really good. So Ankeny and then you don't want to play Pizzetti on a cold game in the quarterfinals. So this is going to be it's so dumb, but it's so simple.
Yeah.
But you're going to have kids make plays. You were talking about in our beginning of our show, you were talking about Max Scherzer. You got to have that guy. You're going to have that guy, no matter what team it is. It'll be fun to see what players step up.
Yeah, I think it's wide open again, like all the classes, but I think it will be who steps up when the lights shine the brightest.
I mean, Sioux City East.
Cal Jepson.
Yep. And
this might be our first ever time we've lost somebody live on the air. We'll see if he can get her back. But yeah, as we wrap up high school football, it's been a pretty amazing couple weeks that we've had going with high school football. So we will have the Iowa Football Coach Association Player of the Year awards that we'll be giving out later. So first week of the football playoffs for 8-player A, 1A, and 2A, and then 3A, 4A, 5A with their week 9 games. And from there, we will also then – he might be trying to get back. Let's see if we can get him back.
Yeah.
There we got him.
So did I just lose you? This is live. Remember you said, are we really doing this? So I'm jumping on and you're jumping off.
There we go. I got you back.
Hey, I kind of like this look.
No, you froze. You were just gone.
Yeah, I was just spinning.
Yep. So we got her back. So a couple things to wrap up here. We just wrapped up some high school football. I had a couple other fun kind of small town things, and then we'll get out of here for this week. But one of the really fun things that I saw here, I'll just kind of play it, and we'll go from there. See what happens here. So this is Matt Johnson. Matt Johnson, I believe like Air Force, Army. I'm not exactly sure, Matt, but Matt's a Melcher guy.
Oh, really?
So I covered Matt. He was one of the racers out at English Creek Speedway. Just a really awesome kid. And you can just see from a cool family. He's related in there with Dr. Perryman and kind of that whole thing too. So just a cool guy. But then as I kind of saw this, it was just cool. Like,
and I've been watching your journey, and when I seen that you went through your little ACL thing yesterday, I was like, he's running 1,000 miles. I wouldn't be a friend if I didn't give $20 a mile to Valor Fit, starting right from the beginning of the race to every mile you finish on the last day.
So I just thought it was pretty cool. Like, he's been training Jelly Roll. And so Matt's been training. So then this is Jelly Roll calling him as Matt was running across the country, and kind of struggling his way through all of that, but just pretty cool, what he's doing. But then this is all kind of a sponsorship too with Kane Footwear. And so Kane Footwear are the shoes that I'm wearing everywhere that everybody thinks are dumb. They're really cool. But
they are dumb.
Yeah. So that was just kind of a fun one. And then the last thing that I got here is, whoa, we're back to that one. I
Yeah,
kind of like.
it's really cool that we can talk about people from Melcher, people from Odebo, people from Bedford, and that's really cool. How the things that small town Iowa can end up hanging out with Jelly Roll.
Yeah, he's training Jelly Roll. He's hanging out with Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll is then, given $20,000 back to Valor Fit, which he was running across the country for. So just pretty amazing when you really kind of think back through all of that, everything.
So is Johnson around your age group, or?
I think he'd be much younger than me, probably 10 years younger than me.
That's cool.
But he was a cool kid. And I remember we were doing like some video content at Knoxville, and he was young little racer, and he just wanted to be on camera, man. He was like in front of it. So it was him and Jury Ellis, I remember, were running around. So here's the last thing I will share. And this is really cool. So I'm kind of always been a nerd for, great storytelling. And I was watching some things on Aaron Kiernan. And so Aaron Kiernan stepping away from the anchor desk at Channel 13, and, congrats to her. Like what an amazing career that she's had, and to really just be able to do it on her terms, on her way. And I don't think you've probably seen the end of Aaron Kiernan. Like, I was already texting with her today, and she's just an amazing human being, and what she'll do next will probably be even cooler. And she just will continue to be a storyteller, but a storyteller that I happened to see then was, and I'll try to mute this and just
I don't think Aaron would even liked you or cared for you at all if I wouldn't have set the stage.
She would have hated me. I would have been the young punk, but
I'd have been like, Aaron, it's my brother. He's stupid. Just give him a chance.
So I came across this, and I'll probably put this in the comments so people can watch it, because it's like 6 minutes long. We won't watch the whole thing. But it was just
Spring Road.
It's Boyd Hubert.
Folks awaken.
Oh yeah.
A different beat.
You'd be laying in bed and you'd just be like, oh, that's so awesome.
If music can be made with a bat and a ball,
That was a good shot.
backyard batting
There's some great
has
shots.
become a concert hall.
I've
Well,
got a lot
a
of
couple of
crazy
them are just
ideas. I said this one worked
GoPros.
out well.
Rick Delorier spotted the old phone poles that hold it all up, discarded during a highway project.
He needs to keep his hands
18
up,
years
though.
ago.
I do remember that he dragged them off of Williston Road in his minivan, like in the dark, so that they were free.
Cages are normally meant to keep things in, but from that point forward,
Crazy spreads really fast.
Rick couldn't keep the neighbors out. From across the street came Griffin Powell, not just once,
Probably once a day
not just that first summer.
for the first 15, 16, 17 years of my life.
He's
yeah.
logoed
In a
up,
few
isn't he?
weeks, Griffin
go
will
shield
be
guy.
heading to college in Mankato on a
Mankato,
baseball
baby.
scholarship.
Yeah.
From 2 doors down came little Derek Branson, now Minnetonka High School's reigning baseball MVP. Come fall, he'll trade Rick's cage,
It worked out really well.
They
for a
play
field at
small town
Southwest
baseball in
Minnesota
Minnesota
State
too. It's a
University.
special
Ready,
place.
kids?
and from that house, right over there, no farther than a throw to first, came Luke Pedersen,
Just need to walk over here.
who just finished his high school junior year.
Yeah, but they got the
Named
lefty.
to the
You could just
state
throw
baseball
BP limitless. You know,
alternative
the
team.
guy's got to
Look at
scoop the
it.
lip. Who's
Can't
that
be a
guy?
coincidence,
That's
can
the
it?
guy. You know,
But the story continues, and there's like 6 D1 players in this neighborhood, and they've all
No
hit
way.
this
It's like the old yeah, my old neighborhood. We got like 9 slappers.
So, it's all this. The guy ends up changing his, everything. And then they come back around, and the guy that bought the house, they finally sold the house. Now he's going, the kid that just bought it's going to New Mexico State. You know, it was just pretty cool. And so Boyd Hubert doing the story, it was just an amazing story, and just really cool to be able to see, what it's like, and to see all those kids and everything and grow up together. And it's just ultimately tide raises everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's simple. I think it's what you're talking about at the very beginning with Max Scherzer. You just got one person, and then everybody follows and everybody believes. And yeah, you follow a plan. I think about the Blakes, and I think about old man Blake, and just, if you got the talent, you owe it to everybody to push it to the limit and just drug those kids out. And sure, he had an injury and it didn't get him where he wanted to go, but he still had that dream, and he pushed it. And yeah, he rose the tide, not just for his family and his kids, but for everybody in that community and the awareness of baseball, and it still exists.
Still exist. I saw Casey Blake, not quite in a Hawkeye uniform, but he had some black colors on, and his son George was on his recruiting visit. So George is the 2027, and it looked like the Hawkeyes had offered him to play baseball.
Yeah,
And so George Blake might be a Hawkeye. That would be pretty cool.
that's interesting.
That might be our lead for today. George Blake,
Yeah.
a Hawkeye.
Yeah,
Done.
we're pushing that out there. You know.
Yep. George Blake,
Heard it.
Braylon
Heard it.
Bingham,
Heard it here
2027. Hawkeyes done. All right, we're out. We'll see
All
you
right.
next week.
See ya. Or a couple.